Yes, yes, yes. My highest choice is that everybody can hear me. I am now, for the first time, attempting to stream live on Facebook and YouTube Live. Wow, the technology is deep. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a Good Friday evening, and I'm just going to come on for a little bit and talk about a couple of current events. And yes, welcome, 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 all of you. It's good to see you. It's good to be here. Let's see if I can. Wow, look at this. I'm using a whole new technology to stream in several places at one time. This is beautiful. I'm grateful that all of you would come over and join me just for a little bit as we discuss some things that are happening right now. Um, for those of you who are aware, we're doing a class, a workshop, part two of a workshop that we started a couple weeks ago. And the class is called The Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis. And that class will be with Dr. Mahdi and myself starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's March 16th, from about 10 till 3 Eastern Standard Time. Somebody said my audio is low. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me on? I guess this is an Instagram issue. Yeah, let me know how we can turn up the volume because I don't know. Is there a button here to turn up the volume? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me loud and clear. Is that better? Okay, good. So you can hear me much better. Great. So I'm here to announce a class that we're doing. A lot of you have been involved. I want to thank you for all of you who joined part one of the Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis class. That was about a month ago. And now we are doing part two, part two of the Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis, along with myself and Dr. Mahdi. Remembering our birthright, restoring balance, and rebirthing into the now. So just imagine, you know how you were born, you got a birth certificate, and you came into a family, and basically they told you what you were all about. They told you who you were, how you should vote, how you should live. They taught you how to eat. And sometimes that program is so deep that it follows you through your whole life, even though you know that that's not totally you. But we begin to agree a lot of times to things that may not be totally accurate because that's the way we grew up. We eat a certain way, we eat the way they told us to eat, or the way we were um, programmed. And those things follow us through our lives. And it is challenging sometimes to change. It's not easy. Some folks say, well, just all you got to do is change, just stop doing it. Well, if you've been programmed all your life to be a certain way, to walk a certain way, and talk a certain way, then it's a challenge. So we should be more caring and more loving and gentle with those who are just beginning to change. And, it's not just about what we eat, because some folks figure, well, if I change and I become a vegan, I become a raw foodist, then I'm conscious. Well, that doesn't make you, I mean, if everybody's conscious, no matter what you eat, you are awake, you're aware, so you are conscious. We are all conscious. So, when we say consciousness, what do we really mean? What are we really talking about when we say conscious? And what is there a certain belief or a certain way that we have to walk and talk to be considered conscious or to be considered woke? And then, we have to be careful because a lot of times folks become judgmental and begin to judge other people's mental state. because we feel like we've changed and we're this way and everybody should be this way. You come up with some new knowledge, you just learned about something, you read a book or you went to a lecture, which is great. But who decided that now you are the knowledge broker? You just woke up. So we should be careful when we talk about other people and where they are and point the finger. You see, we're living in challenging times. Like the time just changed in many places. Someone changed the time. They decided that there was something called daylight savings time. And I guess they catch light in a bottle. I'm not sure what this means, how you actually save daylight. But once you begin to believe in things like this and you go along with it, then you become it. The American breakfast, what you eat, what you were programmed to eat for breakfast, you become it. These ideas, certain religions and beliefs and things, you become it after a while. The challenge is to challenge time, to change time, to become a time broker, to become someone who emits, take time, turn it backwards, and you begin to emit, you begin to live and do, and not just wait on time. And get out of time, get out of the rhythm that you were born into. Yes, you were given a name, you were given a number, given a race, a political belief system. They told you about everything that you should be. And, when we were born, we were programmed, right, by our parents or whoever raised us or our community to be a certain way, to be righteous or to be part of that community. And one of the things that a lot of folks have the fear of is the fear of being separate, the fear of missing out, the fear of not being a part of a crowd. I got to figure out which camera to look at because I got two cameras going, you see. So that is the challenge. Somebody says the volume is really low. I'm going to hold this by my mouth a little bit closer because I guess the iPad volume is not the loudest. Okay. We have to begin to select for ourselves and challenge time. Challenge who we are, challenge the clock, challenge ourselves. And the biggest challenge that we have is ourselves, challenging our old self, challenging the way that we were. The way we were. What's that song? The way we were. Scattered memories of the way we were. Misty color, Misty, what's the song? The way we were. What's that by Barbara Streisand? Look at the lyrics of the song. Some of us get caught on the way we were, and the way we were, we want to become and stay because we feel that is what it takes to be normal, to be accepted by everybody else. And that's a big thing about being accepted. You want to be accepted by everybody because that is a program that says that we're part of a tribe. This is your family. This is everything. And you should stay right here and never change. That's a program. Is that real? If it is for you, then it is. If that is real for you, then that becomes your reality. I'm saying we should break reality. At some point, when you feel that this is not for you, when you feel that you're ready to walk a new walk, when you feel that you're tired of being a regular sheep and you're ready to be the black sheep and jump the fence, that we should do that. But that sometimes takes renewing ourselves, creating a new ID, a new ideology, a new thought, a new way, a new walk. And not just following, because sometimes even when we get into these new ways, we're still following a crowd. We want to be a part of something. But sometimes it takes being away from everybody and everything to find out who we truly are and to get into what we're truly passionate about. What are you truly passionate about? Without the ideas and ideals and the ideologies of the people around you, what would you really like? Who would you really be if you had nothing binding you? If nothing was there holding you, what would you choose? Would you choose the job or the career or the thing that you love to do? Would you choose that or would you choose something different? Well, to choose something different, you've got to go a lot of times through what they call metamorphosis. You may have been a caterpillar most of your life, but now it's time to become a butterfly. Well, to do that, you've got to go into the cocoon. You have to go into the cocoon, which is a dark place, which is a crystal cave, the chrysalis, the crystal cave. That means you got to let go of the life of the caterpillar. It's challenging because the caterpillar wants to live, but the caterpillar just eats. That's all it does, is it just devours food, and food is like information. And that's okay. But at some times, right? At some times you may be ready to jump the fence, climb up, go into the crystal cave, become something new, change your life, change the course. And that takes growing up. So a lot of times we say, I've been noticing how many times we say we need to heal. We need to heal, a healing circle. We're going to have a healing session. And I'm beginning to feel that certain words are beginning to lose their real meaning because they're used by everybody. Healing, consciousness, awareness, even love and ascension. It's a language that people learn, right? That all of a sudden now you've got it like it's in the mainstream and everybody begins to talk this talk, and you think you know what people mean when you really don't know where people are at, because to be part of what they call the in crowd, you talk a certain way and act a certain way to be a part of that group. And sometimes it's challenging to walk alone. The question is, are you ready to walk alone for a minute? I was looking out the window today and I noticed that the trees are beginning to bud. And there's branches on the tree that are dead. And I started looking at the tree just each day, just watching more and more buds over the last, since the 19th, when we went over, when we went through the equinox. Every day the tree and all the plants are expanding. They are expanding. They are expressing no matter what. They're not waiting. They're not asking other trees if it's okay. If there's one tree, it's ready to go it alone. We are much like trees. But remember, there could be branches on that tree that are not alive. So those branches represent the old way, the old ideas, the way we were. But the tree does not give the dead branch any energy. It lets the dead branch go. It doesn't try to recover the old leaves. It leaves the old leaves behind. This is what springtime is about, springing up and challenging the old times. Are you ready to challenge the old way? Well, this takes walking in a different direction, not feeding old ideas. Instead of complaining about what had happened. And, even when you talk about healing, we got to heal. Everyone needs to heal. The more you say that, it denotes to your subconscious that I'm really, really sick, because I've been to 25 healing circles. I've done many, many sessions and not much has changed. But I think we're going to start using the word grow and growing up. We need to grow and grow up. Being able to grow and grow up in a way from those things. We can't forget that there's branches and there's leaves that died, but we can still move forward by raising, elevating ourselves. To do this, we have to do what we call the soulful science of change and metamorphosis. We've all got to go through that. So the class that we're having tomorrow, which is part 2, is about just this subject that I'm talking about. The soulful science of change and metamorphosis. Somebody's asking, well, where do we find the class? You can go to my bio, and up there on the bio, you'll see the Soulful Change of Metamorphosis 2, part 2. Make sure you get the part 2. Or you can go to elevationtime.com, and go to events, and you'll see the class. The Soulful Change of Science and Metamorphosis 2. The class is full of things that we can actually use. It's just not talk. It's just not a bunch of, philosophies. It's things that you can actually use, techniques that will help you change and shift. Some of the things that we're going to talk about is remembering our birthright. That's important. Do you know what your birthright is? Because it came with you, but you may have forgotten it when you begin to be raised like animals, on a farm. That's why we raise the children instead of rear them. Where did that come from? You're calling them kids. You see, that means that they're like little baby goats, wild goats and animals. Wondering why they're acting a certain way. It's because you keep calling them kids. So why not be wild like a goat? We got to remember our birthright, which means to get back to the original us at the root. Are you ready to do that? To do that, we got to restore balance. And we got to rebirth into the now. The folks that take this 3-part class, it's a trilogy. So there was part 1 a month ago. You can still go to elevationtime.com. I think it's also in my link tree and take class 1, which was, it was so much information in it. And Dr. Mahdi, he lays this stuff down so beautifully well. It's amazing. He's a very, very interesting person who has a lot to offer at this particular time. Part 2, we're going to get into the next level. This is tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to cover how to elevate your life today. Discover the key pillars for healing, managing stress and success. Discover the key pillars. Do you know the key pillars for healing, managing stress and success? Which is growth, how to grow to live, how to grow up, how to move towards away from survival and competition into a place of ease where we begin to thrive. How many of you out there would like to begin to thrive? They say we're in a new age. We're there. Well, the age just doesn't happen to us. We have to happen to the age, which means you got to challenge time. You got to challenge the clock. So what? They changed the clock. They can't actually save daylight. That's just an idea. It's a concept. It's a meme. It's a belief. It doesn't really change anything. Yeah, somebody's saying is if they come to the class, can they get replays? Yes. Once you join the class and you register, you'll be able to replay the class. We'll be also talking about upgrades, right? And exercises that restore brain-body balance to peak performance. Upgrades and exercises that restore brain-body balance to peak performance. Would that be great? Is that good or good? And these techniques work. Some of the most successful people in the world use certain techniques. You may not have been taught these in school. Your parents didn't teach you this, maybe. Some of us had parents that did, but once you learn how to upgrade and use these exercises, these are body movements, mind movements, they balance the brain and put your body and brain in a rhythm together. For you, by you, with you. It has nothing to do with anybody else. You've got to use this stuff yourself, and you can't wait on other people and even ask for other people's opinions. A lot of times we're waiting for other people, waiting to get other people's validations. You've got to validate yourself. We're going to talk about how to use superfoods and supplements to activate the body's reset button. Real superfoods, because, a lot of times today, you'll see almost everything that's supposed to be vegan or whatever, they call it a superfood. It's a superfood. What does superfood mean? A superfood is something where the nutrients are densely packed. And those densely packed nutrients are also available because you have some foods. Listen carefully. You have some foods that have densely packed nutrients that also have a protective coating around them, especially certain seeds, certain plants that have a certain skin to protect them from people eating or beings eating them. So you might be thinking you're eating the best food in the world, but that food has a protective coating. For instance, tomatoes. Tomatoes, skins, and seeds have a protection, right? and it puts what they call lectins into your system, which causes you to not digest very good. It also plays with your hormones. This is tomatoes, but there's an easy fix. All you've got to do is peel your tomatoes and cut the seeds out. Cut the seeds out. Cut the seeds out and peel them. Well, that takes too much time. Well, go on and eat them like they are then. And we, even in the raw food world, we in the raw food world, a lot of us, we eat raw tomatoes, or we eat sun-dried tomatoes. They're okay if you took the skin off, because the skin is protecting everything inside the tomato so that it can live. The seeds can make it. So it's not enough just to be a vegan. It's not enough just to be plant-based. Plant-based is another one. What does that really mean? Is it something made in a plant? People have been eating plant-based chicken. Chicken's been based in a plant in a long time. Even the chicken that's supposed to be a real living chicken, it was grown in a plant. Your cows, chickens, and pigs, grown in a plant, a place where they created stuff and make things in a plant. So we've got to be very careful, just, and not just jump into trends. And we hear certain foods are this and that, but we may not go do all the research. Go do some real deep research and just don't search in the first part of Google, the first 5 or 6 that pop up, and you say, oh yeah, I did the research. I did the research. It's not enough. We got to go deeper and deeper and deeper and get some books and go to the library where a lot of the lies are truly buried. The truth is down there too. Maybe we should go to the truth buried. You see? We're going to also teach daily routines that allow for the adaptation and adjustments to challenge us in real time. What do we mean? If you know how to adapt, if you know how to change and shift, when the wind comes, the weather comes, you know how to be intuitive in that moment to find shelter and use your gut feelings. And getting back to those gut feelings is essential for this particular time we're in, because the information that we gained from the last 6,000 years may not be as useful in this new place, because we're in a new place. We're in a new time. The planet is speeding up. Every atom, every molecule is speeding up. The energy is different. There's a different light source. We're in the photon band. And in that photon band, we're receiving light from these little small light particles that are changing the way we live, because everything here is based on light. It's based on light. Your genes and everything is based on light. So we're looking forward to sharing part 2 of this exciting, essential subject, the soulful science of change and metamorphosis. The abilities of adaptation and adjustment are necessary for thriving, especially during these challenging times. Allow us to share what we've learned about the transmuting the path we've been led down into a golden path. I'm going to say that again. Allow us to share what we've learned about transmuting the path we've been led down into a golden path. That's transmutation. And we have to get out of this victim archetype. What they did to us, what they're doing, what they didn't tell us, what they didn't do, what they threw at us. You'll never win. Winners take whatever they were thrown and they use it as fuel, or they compost it. You must use what was thrown at you as fuel, or compost it, or be like the goose or the swan. They go under the water, catch a fish, and they come up and they're not wet, because there's an oil in their feathers. And that oil protects them from getting wet. Are you allowing yourself to get wet by other people's stuff, other people's talk, other people's feelings, and they're putting their feelings and putting their stuff on you? I think that's kind of like, voodoo, hoodoo, you do. You're worried about what they do to you. Why? You're concerned about what they said, what they think, what they feel. You don't know what anybody else thinks. Did you realize, have you noticed that we're not good mind readers we think we are? You really think you know what other people think and other people feel? You really think that? You believe that? I know what they're thinking. I know what they're saying in their minds. How do you know what somebody else is saying in your mind when half the time you don't know what you're saying in your own mind because your own mind has been formed by beings and people around you in an environment that may not be one that's best for you. So you have these thoughts and you begin to predict what's going to happen. Now, if you can have a prediction about something good and turn that into a rhythm, and if you could start to begin to vibrate on that level, predicting what would be good for you. Now you can begin to create a self-fulfilling prophecy around moving towards a great goal. A lot of us are not goal-minded because we feel something bad is going to happen. It's a program already. So we get led down the path of thinking everything is bad. Everything is funky. The world is getting worse. Then you watch the news. The 6 o'clock news. And half the time, a lot of stuff on the news is almost a nuisance. Some of it may not have even happened exactly like they're telling you. And you believe it. You follow it. A lot of the politics about who you need to vote for and why you need to vote. You first, have you voted for you? I like Billy Carson, the way he says, he goes down there, gets in line, waits, and he votes for himself. How many of us are voting for ourselves? Thinking for ourselves. Some of us don't even know what the self is. We got to get down into the root of people so that they can begin to become themselves. And this is not something that everybody can just do and do one time and say, I got it, because we're doing it all the time. We're doing this all the time. You must do this constantly. You are constantly going through transmutation. And just because you took a class, and just because you read a book, and just because you were in a story, and this happened back in the day, you have to recreate yourself every single day. Are you ready to do that? Are you willing? Now, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be simple, because in this class, we give you the tools and the steps to take every day. Is this good or good? How many of you were in the class, a month ago? How many of you were there? Have you shared what you've gained? There's some things that you do that you have to do: kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. These kinesthetic and auditory visual exercises changes everything. It's not just about what you're eating. It's not just about you learning a bunch of things. It's about you actually becoming the thing. Is that y'all organic organizers over there? Yeah, go check out Organic Organizers. They got some booklets that can tell you what to eat, because a lot of the foods we're eating, the combinations are wrong. So if you're eating certain foods that don't combine with other foods and the body can't digest them, then you're in stress mode. If you're hanging around with people, you don't really mix with these people, but you're just around them because, you don't want to be alone. You're in stress mode. Another one, I was talking to some folks earlier today about this thing about what is it called now? Giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. The heck is this about? What does that mean? If you already have a doubt, it's already in your gut. You already know this probably is not going to go good. But then you give them the benefit of the doubt. Do you know how much stress this causes in your life? And when it goes bad, you knew it was going to go bad, but you don't trust yourself. Why don't you trust yourself? A lot of people don't trust themselves because they were taught lies from the beginning. And they began to believe in the lie. Then the lies become the truth. And if the lie was that you're not powerful and you don't have your own autonomy and you cannot go alone, you can't make it out there, it's going to be hard, then you can't organically organize your life. Some folks need help with that. Some folks need a coach. They need somebody that's going to help them organize their love life, organize their daily living, even prepare food and put together food and prep that food in a way where this food is going to not fight with other foods. Did you know there's like a food fight going on in people's bodies because you've mixed, proteins and fats, and you've mixed vegetables and things that should be alkaline with things that should be acid. We mix all these foods together in the standard American diet, and it's killing us. Diet. That causes stress. And that actually becomes a part of your personality. That can be changed. Get out of the victim mode about what they did and what they taught us to do, and get out of that. Let that go. Let it find its destiny. But you got to be an apostate. You have to be ready to be an apostate, a person that is like the apostles who move away from the mainstream. They don't follow everybody else. You got to be ready to go it alone. And you got to be ready to go to the forbidden zone. What is the forbidden zone? This is a lot of the places they told you don't go. Don't go. That's evil. And that's stuff. And that's pagan. Do you even know what paganism means? How many people truly know what pagan? Oh, it means evil. Who told you that? The Catholics? The people who were your captors at times? Your oppressors told you what a pagan is? Why? Because in paganism, they say God is a woman and nature is king or queen, and Mother Nature is most important. Now you move into this new world, you don't need to be dealing with herbs and all of that. They don't work. There's no human trials to prove that herbs work, that minerals work, that yoga works, that meditation works. So the mainstream doesn't want you to be into that because you become self-regulating. You begin to balance your own self. Now you go through a metamorphosis where you wake up from the deep sleep. Nature, y'all, nature. Right now it's springtime. You should be following nature. They even told you the groundhog tells you when Easter's coming. I mean, when spring is coming. What kind of bullshit is this? Did the groundhog see a shadow? How the hell you know what the groundhog saw? You see, all these fairy tales and stories, they mess with your brain. So you're not in total connected with Mother Nature. Mother Nature, not Father Nature. It's Mother Nature and Father Sky. Mother Earth and Father Sky. And you've got to do the work, the alchemy, the metamorphosis to create heaven on earth. Are you ready to do that? This is the time. There's been no time like now. There's no time like now. There's no time like now. So sometimes we got to take a leap of faith. A leap of faith. Faith. Feel as if the thing has happened. And I got that from Ian Levanzant, who I'm actually going to be working with starting next week. I'm going to be on the Ian Levanzant TV platform. I'm not sure where it is. I think it's IVTV. Look for it. But we're going to start doing some things together because I'm going to be working with a lot of different people who can help us all move through this new place, because this new place, nobody knows what's happening exactly because it's happening for the first time. So your intuition has got to become strong. And intuition, right? The only way to have good intuition is to get out of your old head, because your old head, right? Your old mindset was made in a time, right? In the Piscean age, which was like the time of what? Deception. We were easily deceived and led into a lot of things. We believed in things that we couldn't even see. We didn't even know what was happening. There was a man blowing the clouds, watching us when we were even in the shower and in the bed. They're judging us with a list. Was that Santa Claus or was that the other one, the other Claus? We have to wash that stuff out of our heads. So that's why we're having the Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis class. Those who take all 3 classes will receive a certificate. That certificate you can put on your wall, just like these other certificates that you got, that you believe in, these sheepskins. Somebody gave you a certificate because you went to class and you were able to memorize over and over, multiple choice, study up all night to have multiple choice, to know about something that can't even be proven, because most of the things that you learned are not provable. They're theories, they're ideas. Nobody knows for sure. The thing that really helps us is intuition. To have intuition means you got to have good gut feeling. If your gut microbiome, if your gut bacteria is off, you don't know what you're feeling because your gut is confused. If you're eating foods that's eating you, your gut is confused. If you have parasites, your gut is confused. If you're full of bacteria and you're full of these toxic materials and heavy metals, and you're full of plastics and microplastics and all this fake stuff and fake food, then you're confused. You can study all day long, but you can't really use it because it's all in your head. You got to get in your body. You got to get into your soul. Get that soul back. Where's the soul at? First, your soles of your feet got to be touching the ground sometimes, naked. And you got to watch what you're eating. Don't just watch it, but make some choices based on how you feel before you eat it. Some people just eat anything they say to eat. Oh, this is healthy. I heard it's full of nutrients. It may be full of nutrients, but it may not be the right nutrients that you need. So beginning to get down to yourself is deep. How do you do it? You got to discover the key pillars for healing and managing stress and be able to create success for yourself. There is a path. There is a blueprint for this. Learning upgrades, learning the upgrades and exercises that restore brain-body balance to peak performance. Would this be good? Is this worth investing in? You will get this in the class. Whether you use it or not is up to you. You'll learn to use certain superfoods and supplements to activate the body's reset button. Did you know you have a reset button in every cell? There's a reset button in every cell. Learn daily routines that allow for adaptation and adjustment to challenges in real time. This one is heavy, y'all. If you keep having old reactions and you're acting the way you've always acted and you act out based on what somebody said and what somebody did and what you think they're doing and what you think they're thinking, then you're not being in the now. You're not able to adapt to the situation. You've got to be ready to adapt. You have to become an adaptogen. An adaptogen is one who can move in a place and learn how to act in that space right now in this place. But if your food is toxic, if your food is just corroded and full of preservatives and excitotoxins and GMOs, then you got the genetically modified orgasms people are having. It's fake because people are walking around wearing so much fake stuff, putting on makeup all the time. And they put on a certain voice a lot of times. Hi, how are you? Oh my God. And they get home and I'm so glad to be home. You change. Why do you change like this? We change because we want to be accepted. We want to be a certain way. When you get to the place where you can just be how you're going to be no matter what, without asking other people's permission, without caring what other people think, because you don't know what they think anyway. What do other people think? You don't know. You don't even know any people. Well, you know how people are. Well, you know how black people are. You know how white people are. You know how women are. I hear this all the time with the talk. You don't know any people. You count all the people you think you know. You don't know them. A lot of y'all are married and in relationships, and you think you know the one you're in love. You think you really know them. You don't know them. You only know what they show and the way they act. Just like you act a certain way around certain people. You have a certain voice, you change up. Hi, John. How are you? Good morning. Good evening. That's not how you normally talk, but you act that way because you want to fit in and you want to create this false sense of security because you're insecure. And a lot of us, when it's time to change, we're afraid to change. We don't want to change because the saboteur comes online. What about the saboteur? You got this saboteur inside of you that's going to try to mess everything up. Even if it looks like it's it. This is it. This is it. We're going to win. And then the saboteur says, no, you can't do that. You might get hurt. You might fail. So that you don't fail, We're going to stop everything now so you can't fail. If you don't do it, then you won't fail. Who is this voice? Who is that? I am the saboteur. Where did you come from? From you. I'm protecting you from succeeding. Because if you try to succeed and you don't succeed, then you will fail and you will feel very, very bad. A lot of people have the saboteur online. They're looking for a problem. They're strategizing their own problem. They are what? Prophesizing their own failure. People are already seeing the failure before it even happens. They're already predicting failure. That's a rhythm. That's a paradigm. That's a way. That's a habit. We got to learn how to break habits. We got to learn these things called pattern interrupts. Do you know about pattern interrupts? There are things that we should do every day. No matter how many times you've done it in the past, every day you're being renewed. When you wake up in the morning, you died. You're mourning the other day that just died. It's gone. That's why they call it mourning a lot of times. Because you're mourning the death of to yesterday. So to now is a brand new place right now that's never happened before. Right now, I'm streaming on 3 platforms. I've never done this before. I just jumped up and said, let me just figure out how to do this. I had to use my iPad because I couldn't figure out how to do this with IG, but I was able to do it really quickly by just freeing my mind and stop thinking whatever I could have thought that was going to make me fail and sabotage my own self. I've done it too. We all do it. We hear that somebody's evil and then we jump on board, right? We hear that somebody's bad or not good or somebody's rich or somebody's famous, and we want to live our lives gossiping in our own heads about other people and what they got going on. We've got to learn how to mind our business and business our minds. Are you ready to do that? If not, it's okay. We're not begging you to jump on any train. We're not begging you to get out of the paradigm that you live in. We're not begging you to leave the farm. If you like being on the farm and you see the farm and you're living in the pharmacy and you're taking these things that are not real, you see this world, this paradigm that's been given to you, live there, stay there. Nobody's trying to pull you out of it. But there are ways and there are things that you can do that a lot of successful people have done over and over that can break the spell. Are you ready to break the spell? Are you ready? If you're ready, then say, yes, I'm ready. How many of you out there are ready to break the spell? Say yes. How many of you out there are ready to allow yourself to be the real you, to be the upgraded version of yourself? Say yes. How many of you are ready to let go of the disagreeable past? Say yes. How many of you are ready to organize and reorganize your lives? Say yes. We've got to get into the state of allowing the things that we truly desire, desirable things. You got to know what regulates your body, what regulates your nervous system. There are certain concepts that once you know this, you are no longer in dysregulation. Do you know the things that create regulation in your body? Breath, sound, touch, and movement. Breath, sound, touch, and movement. Breath, sound, touch, and movement. Those being used in a certain sequence every day. When you're speaking, you're breathing. Did you know that? You're moving your mouth. You're moving your body. You're exercising no matter what you do. Even if you pick up the remote, that is an exercise. We're going to talk about how to use these 4 pathways to regulate your life. Are you ready for that? Then be ready tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to my, bio and Linktree, and you'll see that. Make sure that you are going to join the class for tomorrow, which is the Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis, Part 2. You'll see a Part 1 up there. That is the old one. It's a replay. Yes, if you haven't taken that, go ahead and take it. It's full. It's chocked full of diamonds, gold, and minerals and ideas that can change your life if you use them. They just don't happen now. You can't just wait for the world to happen. You got to happen to the world. Are you ready? Say yes. You got to allow yourself to be yourself. You also got to allow yourself to say no sometimes. Allow yourself to say no. Some people say, well, I'm not going to say yes to this class because I don't need it. That's okay. We're not asking you to come, but figure out what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. And does that serve you? Or somebody else serving you up on the table? Is somebody else eating your body, your mind? How many parasites in your life, huh? How many parasitic relationships? That's what we're going to talk about on the Ian Van Zant show. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. But we're going to talk about, parasitic relationships. Some people will feed you and treat you in a way to keep you sick or to keep you weak. Why? Because they love you and they don't want you to get away. They don't want you to go. So they know, like if you're going through some health challenges, that if you get too well, you might leave. Some people look for sick people. Yeah, that's a whole conversation. I'm going to give it all to you. Some people love sick relationships. Some people love lower vibrational relationships. Some people love drama and trauma. Some people like that. That's okay. Let them like it. That's none of your business. You get out of there. Stop trying to change people that haven't asked you to change. Everybody's not ready for transmutation. Everybody's not ready to go to the next level. Let them stay at the level they're at and don't judge them. Let them go. Let them find their destiny. You need to get yours. You need to get on your train. Mind your business and business your mind. Now, I just found out about something that I have been nominated as one of the spiritual leaders of the year. How many of y'all know about this? At Forbidden Knowledge, go to Forbidden Knowledge, forbiddenknowledge.com. I think you can go there and look for the second annual Forbidden Conscious Awards and vote for the people. There's categories there. You'll see people who have already been chosen, like my friend King Simon. King Simon, you out there? He's been chosen, and a whole bunch of other people, and brother Rich, he's been chosen. So I just found out that I was nominated as one of the spiritual leaders of the year. This is a category that I never would even thought of, that I was considered a spiritual leader. I never would have thought of this, but the people are voting. These are the people. So sometimes people see you a certain way that you may not see yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and accept what people see. And when you see the people in the category, my mind was blown. The people in the category with me, I've said, I basically have won just by being in the category with these people. I'm saying, wow, this is amazing. But sometimes, people see you. Sometimes you're trying to make people see you when there's other people that naturally see you. There's other people that naturally see you. There's some people are with you, but they're not down all the way with you. They may not be, some are with you and some are not, some are with you, but not for you. Some are for you and not with you. So you've got to figure out who is your clan, who's with you, or create your own. Build yourself, create your new self. How do you do that? You do that by waking up and being alive and being able to change and adjust and adapt for the situation. Don't take your old self into situations. Yes. Thank you. All those who are saying that they went and voted. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Vote for yourself too, each day. So tomorrow, you could say that tomorrow begins a whole new life for you. If you're ready to say yes, to jump in and to invest. Somebody asked me, they said, well, Dr. B, how come this stuff costs when you can get free stuff on YouTube? Go to YouTube and get the free stuff. We're not trying to make you invest. If you can get enough free information from wherever you're getting it, go get it. But there's something about investing and opting in. And there's something about investing in the people or in the classes or the work that is something that you feel supports the world and your worldview. I want to thank those of you who have invested in the classes that we've done in the past. I would like to thank those of you who have gone to Elevation Time, elevationtime.com, and actually donated. There's people that do, really great donations that helps us do the research. We're researchers. To research means to search and find. When you find something, find the next thing. So when you get to the top of the mountain, you don't stop. You keep climbing. And you get a high, you get a feeling, you get this connection. The currency has to do with electricity. And whenever you give, whenever you pay for something, you say return 1,000-fold. Some people say, well, I say return 1,000,000-fold. That might be a little too big for your subconscious. Let's just go with 1,000 first. Let's get this rhythm working. Return 1,000-fold. Whenever you give money, whenever you give business or give a gift or give your energy, return 1,000-fold. And that rhythm begins to break the old habit of you not, right, but of you losing energy and leaking. Because a lot of us out there, right? A lot of us out there are giving more than we receive. How many of you out there are giving more than you receive? Leaking. How many of you out there are existing in chronic servitude syndrome? You feel like you've always got to give. You got to be there early and leave late, helping clean up. How many of you have been involved with that? It's time to break the spell if you're ready. Now, if you like it and you're getting fed from that, then go for it. Live there. Stay there. Don't complain. But if you're doing things and you're doing everything for everybody else and you're not doing enough for yourself, it's time to get fed. You got to get fed up. Sometimes you got to throw up. You got to disembowel yourself. You got to kill the old self or let the old self go and put the old self in a basket and send them down the river. Are you ready to do that? If you're ready, tomorrow, the Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis class with Dr. B. Serious and Dr. Madi Brown. Remembering our birthright, restoring balance, rebirthing into the now. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. For those of you who would like to join the class, who haven't joined already, I see a lot of folks have joined. Wow, the numbers are going, wow. I'm looking at the numbers of people joining right now. Thank you. Yeah, this is amazing. It's amazing. People are investing in themselves in something new. Are you ready to do that? To invest in you, for you, by you. And if you got a group of people that want to get together and take the class together, that's okay. It's all right. But let's try something new and break some of the old habits. You see, it's not enough sometimes just to have your meditation. Did you know that a lot of people have reverse mantras that they say every day? The mantra that they've been taught actually is working against them because language is a big piece of this. And a lot of words that you may be using in your mantra are parasitic words that eat you alive. And you thought they were like you thought these were powerful words, but you sometimes don't know the language. Make sure you're on our email list at elevationtime.com. Get on the newsletter list, elevationtime.com, because we're having a class later on this year. Change your language, change your life. When you change your language, you change everything because it changes the way you think and it changes your outcome and it changes your income. When you change your income, you change your outcome. When you change your angle, it changes your destiny. In order to change your altitude, you got to change your attitude. And in order to change your attitude, you got to realize what is gratitude, where you came from. And you got to be thankful for everything, even the challenging times. Even the pain and trial and tribulation can actually be used as fuel. Are you ready? Let's go. Tomorrow, once again, 10 a.m. sharp. That's at elevationtime.com. You go there, you go to events, you'll see it. The Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis 2. That's tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis. What are we going to talk about? Once again, discover the key pillars for healing, managing stress and success. Upgrades and exercises that restore brain-body balance to peak performance. Using superfoods, true superfoods. They got a lot of fake funkers out there. Fake funkers. Is that a word? A statement? I guess it is now. Using true superfoods and supplements to activate the body's reset button. Daily routines that allow for adaptation and adjustment to challenges in real time. It's time to elevate the winner in you. Choose to rewrite, release, and rediscover yourself. Are you ready? Say yes. Join in. Join into the vibration. I want to thank all of you that came out last week for the Black Magic album release party, where we did some drumming. And those of you who came in, it was a beautiful setting of people who coming together in oneness. And we're about to put together a full concert of medicine music that'll be coming up soon. So make sure you're at elevationtime.com on the email list. I'd like to thank you all. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourself love. Celebrate your life. Celebrate each breath, each chance to awaken each day and change and transmute. Let's give ourselves an applause. Let's stop talking about other people. Let other people live their lives. Let them find their destiny. You've got to create yours, because every time you give energy up to other people and get into other people's business, you lose. So you're now a self-living parasite eating your own self alive. We've got to let that go. There's no time for judgment. The only person you should compete with is your old self. It's elevation time, y'all. Elevationtime.com. Much love to you all. I will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. You can also go to the bio I think it's on, it's everywhere. My bio, Facebook, YouTube, and also on Instagram, and join the class. I'll see you on time. It's time to rise. It's challenging times. And it's time to challenge the timing. Your timing. You're right on time. Give yourself a round of applause. I love you all. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Good day and good night.